Welcome back, guys. Game number 3 between Slider and Stephano. We are 1-1 right now between these two players. Here we have Stephano as our pink Zerg and the blue Protoss, of course, Slider. And we are on Terminus RE, one of my favorite maps because it is so macro friendly, and I love macro games. I must say, nice little supply depot there at the bottom of the ramp. But taking a look at the natural right here, relatively where, well, it's relatively where a natural should be. That's basically the definition of a natural, right outside the main. But the big thing here is this natural third, so very close to your natural expansion, your second, and yeah, it makes for very, very macro friendly games. Relatively large map here as well. Lots of room to play with. We can see 4 Xel'Naga towers spotting the center of the map there, so obviously helping maintain vision of the center. That's what Xel'Naga towers do. But again, the biggest thing, of course, is these the second base and that third expansion being so close to each other makes for a lot of triple expand plays. Not like straight up 2 expansions right away, but still makes for a lot of just quick expanding games and macro friendly as well. And there you have it. So anyway, Stephano, let's take a look at what we're going to be having. And again, here we see Slider going to be going with that quick expansion. He is loving the quick expands. The Forge Fast Expand is what he's been doing in the past 2 games in this series. And it's worked in the last one. The first game didn't go quite in his favor, but either way, now we're gonna of course be seeing this probe scout moving around and wants to see when that expo is coming, if it's coming, and then he wants to check the timing of that pool as well. So in seeing that there's no expo yet, he's probably guessing that that pool's already up, and he of course would be correct. This time, however, Stephano not going with that extractor. He has been getting that extractor in conjunction with that spawning pool in the past few games, but decided not to do it this time. And actually, there you go, drone moving on down, circumventing the probe. It's going to allow him to drop that expo, no problem. Taking a look over here, we do see, there we go, there is that forge. So going to be going again with that forge expand. Going to be just grabbing up some minerals and then dropping that nexus as soon as he does have those available resources. Should be chilling on out there. Is he going to go all the way back home, really? That's probably a mistake. There we go. Wants to pull on back. Yeah, he doesn't want to. He wants to drop that as soon as possible. Doesn't want to delay that any later than it needs to be. And then probably gonna be coming out with that gateway as well as that cannon. That's pretty much what he's been doing the past couple of games. Yeah, and that's a nice build. I like that as Protoss. If you can get up that expo and get that nice and saturated and working, that definitely puts you in a really solid spot. Unfortunately, in the first game, he did have that expo up, and it wasn't a good position, wasn't a pretty dominant position. But we did see that Nidus play from Stephano strolling right through his base, and those Zerglings obviously making his life a living hell. We do have a couple Zerglings out on the board right now. I think just these 2. Yes, it is. In fact, just the 2. He is moving down, looking for some possible probes, hiding in the corners over here. Wants to try to get that free kill if at all possible, but look at that probe right there. Going to be moving straight on up, and of course this time he is checking the gas. That's what he wants to know. He wants to know if there's one gas up and running. He wants to know if metabolic boost is researching. You can tell that because if it was, the spines would be moving a little bit more frequently. And actually this probe does manage to make it out of there. He's going to be taking a few more shots from those Zerglings though, and there we go. Gateway is up, so here comes that Cybernex core, and that one cannon should be enough for him. And let's see what he's going to do for that next building, because he does have quite a large space here. Now Zerglings are going to have a hard time actually pushing in, and they actually just probably don't want to in general. We can see that probe is going to manage to make it home because he's just going to lose these Zerglings if he does try to move in. So there you go, pulling on back. So yeah, Slider not too concerned that he doesn't actually have a full wall off. Really not the biggest of deals. Look at this one Zergling dancing and the other one working on this destructible debris. Hopefully this guy gets to work. I don't want to dance around for too very long. Taking a look over here now, Stephano's starting to get some saturation going down. You can see he is, of course, droning up. Not really too concerned about attacking units at this point in the game. Is working on that metabolic boost right now as well. Slider, let's see what he's doing. Get that warp gate research coming. Obviously very, very standard fare. He does just now have that 3rd assimilator coming down here. The first one at his expansion. So yeah, not going with the 4 assimilers. I'm going to be interested to see what he ends up deciding to go for a build here. We can see this gateway over here, and look at this actually going down to spot these rocks. He's going to see that these Zerglings are working at it, so hopefully he gets a unit out there. Probably wants to move that sentry on down and start attacking that so that these Zerglings don't whittle away these rocks too much. This is definitely an avenue that he does not want open into his 3rd base when Slider does eventually move on down there. Now taking a look, and look at this, just like I mentioned, Stephano going for that relatively quick 3rd, and it's just so very easy to actually get up on this particular map, so it makes it a very comfortable decision if it wasn't already. And again, just macroing up, just not a lot of attacking units. He just has the 1 army supply, and even for Slider, only sitting at 2 army supply right now. Now here we go, a couple gateways coming down, so it looks like we're going to be seeing another gateway heavy build from Slider. Last game we did see him go out with that 5 gate. He is sitting on 5 right now as well, and actually forming a full wall off. So he's going to let these rocks go down and then just rely on this wall off to deny any of those links from being able to push into his base. So there you have it. Going to be starting out with 5 gateways. I'm like interested to see on what he decides to transition into after that. And Zergling's actually seeing that wall off. Still going to be going to work on these destructible debris regardless of the fact, though. So yeah, there you have it. Taking a look over here for Stephano. What does he got going on? Layers coming on through right now at his main. He does have that Roach Warren up and running. Going to be getting that Roach speed up as soon as it is available. Rocks working their way on through. We do have a Robo coming out right now. So we're going to be seeing a 5-gate with a Robo. And where is that Robo, my friends? Where is it indeed? There we have it. So 5-gate Robo, and that is exactly going to be the composition here of Slider. I wouldn't be all too surprised if he does push out. He's got pretty much this. I guess this would be his basically path of choice for when he does push out. Killing off this pylon. Hopefully he doesn't kill off his forge or gateway like we've seen him do in prior games. Personally, I would much prefer to lose the pylon, but obviously that is his preference for what he's doing. Roach is streaming on out right now, finally starting to work on some defenses. He does, of course, need something just in case he sees that same 5-gate push that he saw last game. Can be very, very devastating as a Zerg player, as we saw in the last short game. I believe it only ended up being 11 minutes. Actually deciding he's gonna not work on this any longer. Pretty much just saying, hey, that's it. I don't really feel like busting through these anymore. Giving up on that effort. But look at this Roach push coming out right now from Stephano. Maybe actually gonna be continuing up on those rocks once those Roaches go through and trying to push into the base here. And we'll see how effective that is. Slider looking pretty well prepared here with all of these sentries. Seems to be in a good position. We have armor level 1 and we do have said that, in fact, that third that's just about finished over there. So Stephano is going to be on the same amount of bases as Slider as soon as that gets up. But here we go. Roach is going to be continuing up and busting right through these debris. Observer fully aware of that right now. Roach is going to be trying to push forward. Interested to see how much damage he can do. I don't think he has a range to deal with those sentries right now. Sentries pushing on forward, and these Roaches looking to be in a tough spot. He might lose these. Trying to target fire down. There we go. Nice little force fields going down, and these Roaches are pretty much dead in the water. Now, at this point, Stephano just wants to do as much damage as possible, but look at that. Force field just cutting back on the range and mobility of those Roaches, and that's a quick mop up here for Slider, having no problem dealing with these Roaches at all. Roach is going to push forward, try to kill off what units they can. We do see Slider microing back that low sentry as well as the whole group of sentries as well. Looks like he's moving out. I don't think he's ready for an actual push right now. We do have a lot. Oh my gosh, lots of Zerglings coming on through as well as 4 Hydralisks. So he's going to be pretty well suited to actually deal with this if he decides to push. Slider's going to be in a little bit of a tough spot. Actually just picking off some creep tumors right now, and that of course is not a bad idea. And look at this. We do have a 4th coming up for Stephano at the bottom right location of the map. And here's the other thing, this map being so huge, but no, Hydralisk is going to drop down these gateway units so very quickly. Nice force fields going down. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though. Lots of links coming forward. Slider's going to lose these forces here. Pretty much no problem. He does have some reinforcements, but still not looking to be enough. As I was saying, though, this map being so large makes it very hard to actually spot all the expos, especially if a Zerg opponent. Zerg players obviously like to expo pretty hard in the game here. And here we go. Zerglin's trying to push forward. Needs to be careful. Immortal getting on up to form that wall off, and there you go. Immortal would be the unit of choice for a wall. That thing is completely beefy. Hydra's going to be moving down. He does not want to lose that Cyber Next Core, though. Stephano going straight for that. This is dangerous. If Slider loses that, he cannot warp in anything but Zealots. And there you have it. Does he have another Cyber Core coming down? No, he does not. Forced to build down another Cyber. This puts him in a really tough spot right now. All he can make at this point is those Zealots out of these out of these warp gates. He can only make Zealots right now until he gets that other Cybernex Corp. Actually deciding to fill that wall off with the gateway. Doesn't want to risk that chance of losing that Cyber again. And that was a really dangerous situation right there. Slider could have been in a whole lot of trouble. Only being able to warp in Zealots isn't exactly what you want. You want those sentries. You want those stalkers as well. We do, of course, have Colossi coming out, or Colossus, I should say. One Colossus coming out right now for Slider. He's also getting that Thermal Lance upgrade, wherever that bad boy is. I don't even know where that robotics bay is. There we go. So he does have that Thermal Lance making its way through, obviously making those Colossus much more effective. And in response to dealing with that, I think he's actually spotted that. He must have, right? No, he hasn't, but he's assuming it is because we can see Corruptors coming out right now for Stephano. So Stephano, assuming that that Colossus transition, is deciding to get some Corruptors out, and that again is going to work very well. We can see Stephano also over here starting to work to saturate that 4th. And like I mentioned, on this map, it's just so hard to scout every single one of those possible expansions of your opponent. So obviously at this point, Slider has no idea that's going down. He's going to be moving out with that Observer, though. He may actually end up spotting that if he does just patrol route it right along the edge edge here. He may actually end up catching that Expo, and he would be able to drop pretty quickly. Another one trying to come out too as well. So Stephano really looking to expand pretty hard here. The major concern, of course, is if Slider just stays on these 3 bases and masses up a Death Ball. Gets a few more Colossus mixed in there. Nice healthy mix of all those Gateway units. But once he gets those Colossus in larger numbers, it can be very, very scary. I mean, Slider's going to feel comfortable to just sit on these 3 bases right now. He does not really need to mass expand like Stephano does. Stephano, of course, needs those extra Larva, needing those extra Vespian for those higher tier units as well, just to kind of keep pace with that Protoss opponent on 3 bases. It can be a very dangerous situation. So yeah, I think that is exactly what's going to happen. Slider's just going to sit on these 3 bases. He's going to mass up a force and push out. That is just a guess, but I would say it's a pretty educated guess. So here we go. Looks like he's finally ready to make his move, streaming it out with his forces right now. Let's take a look at that army tab between the 2 players. We can see right now, and there is an advantage to Stephano, but still, even with just that 87 supply, the Colossus are definitely a tide turner, and they make quite a big difference. We do have one more Colossus coming out, as well as a Dark Shrine, so let me actually looking to transition into some DT for a little bit of harassment. Taking a look at the unit comp, we do have Roach Hydra, pretty healthy mix between the 2, as well as those Corruptors to deal with the Colossus. In terms of upgrades, what do we got going on? We do have the level 1 Carpus upgrade, as well as the level 1 range upgrade coming out right now for Stephano. And Corruptors pushing forward, trying to catch some Colossus off guard. Didn't manage to actually see anything. I don't believe he did catch that Observer, though. And what do we have for upgrades over here? We are 1-1 here for Slider. So Slider, it looks like he is in the better position right now in terms of upgrades. Needs to be careful. His upgrades are just about to finish. I'm surprised he's moving in before those finish, though, because that could be a difference here. And here comes the push. Corruptors pushing forward. Nice force fields going down. Guardian Shield as well. But there are so many Corruptors target firing down this Colossus very quickly. And man, oh man, Stephano with that army supply advantage is actually just mopping over what Slider has. He just had a superior unit composition there and was able to deal with that no problem. Blink Stalkers are going to be a little bit harder to deal with these Roaches and Hydras off the creep, but it looks like he is still mopping up. He managed to get in range. Would like to see some corruption going down on these Stalkers as well. There we go. Got a few, of course, increasing the damage that they take. One more Colossus did finally make it into play. Actually, do a really good job of taking out those Hydras, but here we go. Corruptors pushing forward. Going to target fire down that. No problem. Blink Stalkers pulling back to try to deal with those Corruptors, but not soon enough. And Slider is definitely in a very tough position right now. Stephano has him basically mopped up in his base. He's just sitting back and waiting until he gets enough forces to be able to push out, but he's having a hard time. Colossus still trying to come out with those, but obviously not going to be effective with this amount of Corruptors in play. It's just absolutely unbelievable. We have, how many is it? 10 Corruptors. That is a lot. And Stephano just busting through the front wall, dropping those 2 gateways. Probably going to be dropping this 3rd here as well. Blink Stalker trying to move in the back, but Slider does call good game. So there you have it, guys. This was game number 2 in the best of 5 series between Slider and Stephano. And at the moment, we do have Stephano up 2-1. So if Stephano wins the next game, he takes the series. Or if Slider wins, then we'll be moving into a game number 5. So hold on tight, guys. We'll be coming back with that next game in just one moment. Remember, as always, if you like the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Keep watching and keep owning.